Hi guys, today we're going to convert this FX3 Top Handle into a much smaller, lighter XLR-K3M module. Now this is based on a video I saw by Moments by Ron, which will be linked below. I just wanted to make a much shorter video walking you through the whole process start to finish. You might want to do this if you break your FX3 Top Handle, or if you're wanting to use your audio input with multiple Sony cameras, or if you're just wanting a more compact setup. The only tools you need for this job is a PH00 screwdriver, a PH2 screwdriver, and a pair of tweezers or forceps. Now our first step in this procedure will be to remove this mic holder. Now this is a fairly common practice. I've actually done this once before on my other FX3 handle, and the reason for that was I wanted to use a 3D printed part that gave me some hot shoes on top, which felt like it was much more useful to me than this mic holder. So to do that, all we have to do is open this up here and you'll find 2 screws inside. Our next 2 screws are these 2 screws here on the bottom. These screws are much shorter, so make sure you keep them separate. We've got 2 more screws to undo. This one here that's very easy to get to on the side, and this one that's quite recessed behind the microphone mount in here. Now I found I had to actually get another screwdriver that had a longer neck on it so that I could get in and actually grab that screw. The next 4 screws are really easy to get to. So that's these 4 screws here around the XLR mount, and these are PH2 screws. Now we're ready to start disassembly. So we're going to pull this plate off, being careful to pull it over the XLR clips. These XLR covers came off at the same time because they just sit in this ridge. Our next step is to gently remove this ribbon cable here. There's one more screw we need to remove now that we've pulled that cover off, and that's the screw in here. At this point, we can start removing the whole internals out. There's 2 more ribbon cables at the rear that we want to gently disconnect. The last 4 screws we need to remove are these 4 here that mount the audio module to the top handle. We're halfway there. Now we just need to pull the audio module off the top handle, like so. Be gentle to make sure you don't damage this ribbon cable. Now it's time to replace this top handle with this stalk. We'll start by guiding the ribbon cable through the hole and then mounting the shoe in position. Now we'll reinstall those 4 screws we just removed from the top handle. That feels very secure, so it's time to move to our next step, which is reinserting the module and reattaching those 2 ribbon cables. Next, we'll push this whole unit back in, and then we'll reinstall this little screw so that everything's held in place so we can reattach the final ribbon cable easily. At this point, all 3 ribbon cables are reattached. So I'm going to do a quick test of this module, even though it's half naked, just to make sure it's all working and all cables have been attached correctly before I finish reassembling the unit. Now that we've tested the unit and it's definitely working fine, it's time to finish reassembling this module. Our first step will be reattach the cable holder as well as the XLR port covers. From here, we'll slide the front cover plate back on, being gentle to make sure you clear these XLR clips. Our next step is the 4 big XLR screws using the PH2 head. Next we'll put in the screws here and here. These are the smaller but longer screws. And finally the 2 really small screws in the bottom here. And that's it, a fully functional XLR-K3M at a fraction of the cost. Now at this point you can use the last 2 long screws you've got to reattach the shotgun mount. I'm not going to do that because for me, I rarely use shotguns, but I really wanted this digital 4-channel audio input for my FX3 to be as small and light as possible. So I'm leaving it with that bit exposed, as you can see here. If that all went as planned, you should have gone from this FX3 Top Handle, big heavy unit, to this much smaller, lighter XLR-K3M module. I'd like to give a special thanks to Moments by Ron YouTube channel, linked below, for showing how all this is possible. And if you have any questions or feedback, please leave that in the comments below. Thanks so much guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.